There we are. Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Bitcoin. I'm your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. This is your daily source for everything cryptocurrency markets and personal finance. How are you guys doing today? Hopefully, the answer to that question is fantastic. Wherever you are and wherever you happen to be tuning in to today's show, whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. If you want to support the show, make sure to subscribe, share, and engage in the live chat. Do not neglect that thumbs up button down there. It helps out more than you know. And maybe it will help us get some WD-40 in here for geez, man. Geez, just a little WD-40 on the mic stand could help out. Anyways, let's do, who do we got in the chat? ICRN3037. We got Crypto Jack, Loot, Patient, Mr. Ether, Borg's channel. Good to see you guys. Sound off in the chat if you're here, if you are ready to get this show going. Today, we're going to be talking about Taproot. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin because we talk so much about Ethereum development, Ethereum 2.0, that sometimes it's just like blah, 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 beacon chain this, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to be talking about Taproot today because Taproot has been added to the Bitcoin Core library. Now we're just going to see some final tweaks before the actual rollout. And I'm pretty excited about this because, you know, we talked about this previously and we have a video where we actually went down and broke down all the features that Taproot would bring to the Bitcoin network. But from your perspective, what Taproot really allows us to do, and we'll break into this in further detail when we get into the show. Taproot allows us to have a little bit better privacy by default. It allows us to use pay-to-script hash functions a little bit more eloquently. Hopefully, it'll make them more user-friendly, but that comes with the wallet implementations and the wallet software that individual end users end up deciding to utilize. And it also allows us to have smaller transactions on the blockchain, which should help with congestion because we're going to be able to bring masked in, so Merkleized abstract syntax trees, so that we can actually have smaller transactions, so that we can use Schnorr signatures to incorporate multiple signatures into one signature, and it just reduces the amount of bytes on the blockchain, which makes it faster. So, particularly with complex transactions. We've got Adachi, we've got Anthony Cook, Cornholio, Kyle Mitchell, GBU Wally, and Nice Hash Logan coming in here. Borg's channel says, I took your advice about skincare. Good call, man. Yeah, you know, it is a good call. I've talked to so many guys, and, you know, I don't want to turn this into a beauty channel for the love of God, but you only get, you know, there's your epidermis, your dermis here, guys. It's the biggest organ in your body, and you're stuck with it for life. So take care of it for the love of God. Go to Ulta Beauty. Just go there. To go buy the Clinique for Men stuff. All right, it's good. A little bit of moisturizer, a little bit of matte reducing moisturizer on the face. You'll thank me. All right. All right. Dark Rico says, let's get trending. Let's do it, man. Let's get over into the live markets. Let's check out Bitcoin. Let's see how we're doing. But oh my dear Lord, GBU Wally coming in hot with the $10. Would love your thoughts on trading a brand new released coin, PhilUSD. Anything to be gained from brand new chart or have to wait? There is so much to be gained from a brand new chart, and I'm going to show you an example of exactly what can be gained from trading a brand new chart here in just a second. Let's get over to the live scene and let's answer that question, Wally. Thank you guys so much. By the way, almost forgot. Before we get started here, guys, remember, the show is brought to you by the Premium Trading Group. That's what makes this possible. If you guys want to improve your skills as a trader, learn to build your own if this, then that strategy from the ground up in our online trading academy, take advantage of our premium indicator suite or our premium signal service, and as well as mentoring, as well as our premium mastermind community. So much. Just really so much. Make sure to check out everything we do at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. There's no link on the screen, but it will be on the next one. It's down in the descriptions as well. So let's get popping, guys. Let's do this. Woo! We made it. Look at all those pretty sounds that happen when we do a transition. That is just super cool. I get those cleared up. All right. Anyways, guys, here we are in the live scene. We've got squiggly lines. We've got squiggly lines aplenty. First thing we always want to do is check in with the weekly chart, see if anything dramatically has changed. And no, it is not. Where do we find ourselves here on the weekly chart? Above the EMA bands, so our 21 exponential moving average, our 13, our 8 here, all below price. We do see our 55, 100, and 200 trending to the upside, which does mean broadly that we are in an uptrend. And we've talked about this before. Price experiencing a pullback. Again, the possible trade to take the long up here. Where do we find ourselves right now? In an area where we ideally do not really want to long, at least in my estimation, because we are in that resistance band. I would like to see some pretty clear breakage of this on the daily time frame, or just for price not to be overextended to the upside on the daily. And we'll look at that here in just a second. Minx actually even that continuation Let's see here. Mink's actually even that weekly continuation cross here. That's why I said I wouldn't be too mad if anybody took the long off of here, just not an area where I want to. We also have Parallax and Wadatar Explosion starting to push the upside trade here as well. But we're still just a few days away, probably a week away, honestly, from confirmation, unless something dramatic happens, which it likely will. This is Bitcoin after all. Come on, let's do this. All right, let's go over to the daily here and see where we are sitting. So our PTP strategy that we've been showcasing on the stream would have called for a long here on the 11th of October. We talked about that with OBV oscillator, MACD leader, QQE mod, and IFTRSI not denying the trade. And then, of course, we also have, you know what I want to see? Would this have been? No, I think that would have been a negative close. This would have certainly been the better entry. Then we could have hit a TP1 off of this, about a 4% trade. Yeah, about a 4% trade if we would have taken the entry from here. Yeah, there was about here. Yeah, 3.89% profit opportunity from that entry. From here, you're talking 0.68% less, 0.68% less. So about 3% profit potential on that particular movement. And then 3 days of weak downside. Okay. So I said this yesterday, and today is even more true. You are essentially, and you've had multiple opportunities on these wicks to the downside as well to get in at that entry price. And so let's just calculate if you did want to kind of double back and take that PTP long signal right here, which again, not something I'm recommending to do. In fact, quite the opposite. Those metrics would be 11.714 for your first TP, 12.15 for your second, and 12.316 for your third take profit target. 10.964 being your invalidation or stop loss area right there, although we would likely be out of the trade far before that. All right. We've got Jordan Stotts, Challenged Investor, Nigao. We've got Wook Chewy. We've got Ron Legato. Thank you guys so much. All right, let's, now that we've done that really brief update, Wally, I'm going to get to you in just one moment here. The other thing I want to look at here on the daily, and the reason why I'm not actually taking the long out of this area. So completed TD setup right here. So we're looking at 2 to 4 days of pullback. I would like to see price continue to push up here. Then, of course, the ISIS bot reversal sell signal that we got yesterday. CM Laguerre is not indicating that we're really oversold here. And we do have this TDST line all the way up at 12.368, which would be the kind of the next ceiling now that we've broken this TDST line. So if we get a daily close above our recent high close, which is 11.560, that's when I'm going to actually take a long position. I'm not going to drop my hedge because my hedge is the safest position to be in. I haven't actually added to my hedge on these movements to the upside. All I've done is I've held my hedge that I put out in this area, and we find ourselves here still in profit. All right, so that's still my official recommendation is for individuals to look for hedges in this particular area. And if we broach this area, one can put on a long trade. Now, that might sound counterintuitive to be long and short at the same time. However, that's what I am famous for. So there's different multiple ways to do that. If you guys have any questions, we can break that down later on in the show. But I'm not going to spend 10 hours kind of repeating the same thing over and over and over again. Where do we find ourselves intraday? What should we be looking for intraday? What should we be looking at? Well, we have this pretty sick reversal candle right here. These typically lead to some pretty steep downsides. We've seen this kind of pattern behavior, long wick to the upside, and then red candle. The only thing that's slightly different about this one is that we didn't actually close below support. That's often what happens on these red death wick candles. Let's go find a couple. See, here's one where we actually do end up carrying on for a little bit longer. And then here's one where we actually end up progressing down pretty quickly. There's one right there. So the candlestick structure in and of itself is considered a hammer candle. And yes, we are on the hourly. But we did just come off of that kind of reversal bottoming signal. So this is previously the trade that we played earlier over here. We took this reversal signal to the upside. And then the second trade that we actually talked about taking, this would have been yesterday. We were right here in this area when we talked about taking a reversal trade. That one was unsuccessful. And ended up wicking down here. No. Actually, sorry. That was over here. So that trade was successful. And then we didn't end up picking another one up in this area. This would have been the long potential opportunity right here coming off of this signal. Pretty much as soon as it starts flashing. But let's say you waited to the hourly close. You would have had that. Would you had that 1% opportunity? 0.99%, 0.98%. If, depending on exactly where you entered, of course, you might have some divergence and enter here after the actual candle close. The coffee wasn't ready this morning, so I had to suck a Coca-Cola down. I mean, this is really getting unhealthy, guys. I mean, please, reach out for help. This man is drinking soda on stream. It's not how I want to live my life. So let's see here. So intraday, I would actually want to be taking the short. I'd like to see actually how price is continuing to push up here. So I would have a short on in this area. That is certainly what I would be doing. And I would really be watching this pretty closely because I would want to dump this short if we actually get this candle that closes above this previous high close right here. The high close is 11,423. So if we get a candle closing up here, I'd probably drop that short. And if I really wanted to be a gambling man, I would consider taking the long out of that area. And we have this nice kind of double bottom area where we got bottom feeder signals going crazy here and here. And of course, the two ISA spot reversal signals. And here was the previous sell signal right here. So missed the alley-oop, but did catch the market direction quite well. So maybe we'll see the exact same thing here. And, just, because we have those two ISA spot signals, where would I want to take this? Again, you guys know how I am, pretty conservative. I really would only be looking to take this up to about 11,524. And again, remember yesterday, my first TP was 11,390 and then 11,440. So we've hit both of those take profits off of those calls yesterday. At least drink Dr. Pepper. Come on, man. You like to drink it warm. There's only one soda I drink, sir. And that's Coca-Cola. Yeah, I'm slipping, man. I'm slipping. Let's yeah, so not strong feelings about today's intraday trade. I certainly do think it should be the short right now, and we'll flip position on that here in just a little bit if we do actually get that high close right there. So let's set that alert. We'll just set that alert right there. I didn't really want to keep it open-ended, but that's all right. Real on the Dr. Pepper. Let's keep it classy. What happened to keto? So I've talked about keto a lot before. It's not something that I do a lot. I do keto for about 3 months, and then I don't do keto for 3 months. So let's just say that this is definitely not the 3 months that I'm doing keto. Q4 is not when I do keto. Q4 is when I like to bulk up. So hopefully we'll start seeing that because I just got some new weights over there at the new house. I got the new bench set up all nice. So hopefully we can get bulked up here for the winter. All right, let's get off of this and let's go to our first request there from Mr. TB Wally. Wants to check out Phil USD. Is that like Fillery from The Magicians? All right, so the first thing that I wanted to look at here was an example of what good things can be garnered from trading brand new charts. Well, here's LBI. We talked about this yesterday. This was Andrew Crony's launch. This is kind of his new thing. And once this thing launched, it went up about 1,800% before just steep, brain diving on everybody. I don't know why it's not giving us. Hello. Where's auto? Oh, that's not cool. Well, anyways, maybe it has died. Yeah, because today's the 14th of October, so there's been no transactions since 1700. Just liquidity is all gone. MT Coiner, good to see you, my friend. What does the Dragon Ball Z shirt say? I think it just says Dragon Ball Z. It says Dragon Ball Z. Classy. Keeping it classy. All right. So there's an example of what can be garnered, certainly from trading a brand new chart. Now let's go and see how we feel about this fill. So we've got on Gemini, we're on Kraken, we're on Finex, we're on Bittrex. Heck, we even got Phil USD longs. We've got OKEX perpetuals. And we've got it on Wobi. So let's check out Finex. Nothing. Kraken. Okay. Let's go to CoinGecko so I can do some off the top of my head research on Mr. Phil here. Filecoin. Oh, man. We jumped to number 20 already. Go to market capitalization. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I feel the same way about Miss Alice, my friend. Underrated show. Now, big purge today on conservative channels. So glad you guys didn't kicked off yet. Yeah. Don't tell Alex we're a conservative channel. He'll quit. Of course, it's on FTX. And look at that increase in open interest. That's awesome. From 2067 to current price, 48.40 it says, but I think that's probably a little behind. So I've heard a little bit about Filecoin. Perhaps you guys can fill me in, because correct me where I go astray. Filecoin was an older coin, like it was listed. And I've heard this talked about. I've just heard this word Filecoin. I've heard this bandied about now for a while. So I don't really know what it is or what it's about. So let's see what we got here on this Filecoin. Got a nice 287% run up on the perps. And where do we find ourselves right now? Yeah, I cannot in good conscience buy into this right now. The reason why is because, if it just launched and was broadly going sideways, I'd be okay with that. Or if I knew I was in a clear uptrend, that's one thing. This thing has had a massive, massive sell-off, and I want to see a good, nice sign of strength before buying into the next pullback. There's not really a huge indicator that you can use here to help out. What you kind of want to look for on these is huge spikes of volume and price action to help you buy in, because there's just not enough historical data. You can certainly use things like, accumulation distribution to let you know if money is moving into the market or moving out. But again, that's not super helpful right there. Yeah, there you go, Wookchua. Yeah, how is Filecoin new? It's old. That's exactly what I thought as well. Let's see here. Challenge investor asks, why is Theta gone to crap? I don't think Theta's gone to crap. I just think it overperformed. I think it overperformed most things, and now it is. It's on the pullback, just as about everything else are. Thank you for the $2, my friend. Highly appreciate that. I think we have like 2 different sets of alerts here. I'm gonna have to fix that by turning off the old alerts. They're on in. Try that, and then let's see what happens. See if it does it again. Yeah, I don't think Theta's necessarily gone to crap. I still think Theta's a really good coin. It's just, things are not in the markup phase in the altcoin markets. This is something I've been talking about for a while. I think that most altcoins are on the way down, and I've talked about this with Bitcoin dominance. I've talked about this with things like this is just not really the time, I think, that you want to be holding bags of altcoins. This really is starting to feel like 2018 all over again. Heck, most of them are already down 40%. I don't think that's necessarily going to stop. I think that if most people continue to hold these coins, they're going to be bad news bears, particularly the ones that have a lot of ways to fall. The ones that have already fallen quite a bit, like our majors actually, like Decred and Dash and Zcash and Zen, the ones that are large sats, those are actually a little bit more attractive in this area right now to trade or to accumulate. Let's put it that way. So let's see here. One thing I would look for here on Filecoin. Let's just kind of watch this. But what I want to see here is see if we form a higher low. in this area right here. So here's our previous low. We came back down in the Ichimoku cloud. If we can break above this red cloud at 53.13, that's, you know, with something like this, you can just adopt any kind of strategy you want. So we're going to throw Ichimoku on here, and we're going to have rules for our trades, right? So if price closes above the red cloud, that's a Kumo breakout. We'll take the trade. Otherwise, we would short any kind of retreats to these areas of resistance. So let's see if we can't get over here and do some paper trading on this bad boy. Cool. Yeah, this is actually signaling for the short right now. Let's do that. They're $40 a piece. Pull out Quadrigo. Flip this for a short. And it tells me that my position size should be about $800. So that's about 20 of them bad boys. Just say 18 to be, we'll just do. Our stop loss. 45.12. I'll take that. 33.17. All right, so we'll see how that goes. Thank you very much. Be suggesting the short right here, and we'll see if we get a break in actual market structure. To invalidate that, but yeah, this looks like a pretty steamy log on the way down. I'm not gonna lie. You know, now we can give this some time to settle out, give this some time to actually, you know, find a nice base, find a good supporter. But what we're seeing right now is anybody that had Filecoin early, you know, ran it up and people bought it up immediately. Oh, there goes Bitcoin. Goes Bitcoin. All right. See how we close here. We've got quite a while to close on this hourly here. About 30 minutes to close on the hourly here. We'll see. See what we get here. Thank you very much. And let's close that open-ended alert. Thank you very much. Your hot links are delicious. So what's up with CM Laguerre? Quick explainer would be great. Melanation. Sure. So CM Laguerre, this is the percent rank tops and bottoms, right? So what it does, let's just take a look at the settings, right? So it uses this is a current implementation and an indicator called PPO. So it's kind of similar to detrended price oscillator, but it's percent price oscillator. And what we're looking for is it's just basically a momentum oscillator that ranks everything in terms of percentages. So if we are over 70%, we get a warning. If we're over 90%, we get we're over 70%. Like, for example, RSI might be at 70. RSI is a clocked scale that goes from 0 to 100. So if RSI, for example, is above 70, you would consider price to be overbought, and you would be looking for shorts, or you'd be looking to take profit on your longs, right? Or in some rare cases, you'd be looking to step on the gas because you're getting a punctuated explosion. I just like, I really like CM Laguerre PPO. This is a pretty good indicator. It's been around for a while. Chris Moody is a really good programmer, pine coder here on TradingView. It makes some really popular indicators, and it's not. I don't want to say it's like the best absolute foolproof indicator out there. Such things don't exist. As we can see, it's pretty wrong about this movement right here. But it just gives you a better than not confirmation of whether or not price is in an area, if you're looking to buy low and sell high, then it gives you better than not confirmation that you're right in your estimation. So I always like to use indicators in combination with one another. That's the basis of pathways to profit, for example, where we utilize an initiator, a confirmer, a vol filter, some form of baseline or median price. And then we also use exit indicators, and we utilize several other indicators as well as need be. Our stop and target system with Quadriga, for example. So these things all work better the more confirmation that you get. So with CM Laguerre PPO, we're just simply looking for areas that are overbought or oversold to a degree. When we have the dark green, the way that this color schema is set up, that's below 70%, negative 70%, excuse me. So the scale goes from 100 to negative 100, although it actually stretches up above a little bit more than that. And when we cross 70% to the upside or negative 70% to the downside, that lets us know the price is beginning to be oversold or overbought. And when we cross 90 or negative 90, we are extremely overbought or oversold. Doesn't mean that price will always stop there, but more than often than not, it does. More often than not, it does. It does. It does. And then we actually have something like ISISpot, for example, or Minx or time transformation that would actually give us an entry trigger if those conditions are correct. So that's one example of how you can build a simple strategy using these two indicators. Is my alert a chicken? No, it's the default alert sound on TradingView. Although I'll tell you what, man, it is hot in here. I'll tell you what, Ben's coming over tomorrow, and we have got to set the studio up in a slightly more conducive way so that I can do these longer marathon sessions, because it is tiring sometimes. I'll tell you what, in this hot studio. All right. So with that being said, we couldn't have got that one any more wrong, could we, boys? Let's take a look overall. So at the markets here on CoinGecko and see what we've got going on. And then we'll look at crypto bubbles. Let's see here. So overall, on the daily, Bitcoin and Ethereum are relatively flat. Tether is flat. XRP is flat. Bitcoin Cash and Binance Coin up moderately. Chainlink, Polkadot, Cardano down. I mean, basically, I don't really see a whole lot of movement over the 24-hour period. Let's look at our top gainers. Filecoin up over 100%, followed by Yearn Finance, Quant, and Blockstack. We've got some of the other big ones on here: Loopring, Waves, BitTorrent, Zilliqua. That's about it. Overall, pretty rough day for the markets. Let's see what we got down. Aave, RSR after its pump yesterday, Synthetics, Theta, Filecoin, Golem, Thorchain. Yeah, so all big movers, all ones that had big movements up previously. Take a short, quick break, put on a fresh cotton shirt. This is cotton, I think. What we got going on here? It's nice, I don't know. Go get one of those AC cubes. Yeah, but listen here now. If I put an AC in here, I have an AC in here, and everybody's like, why does it sound like you're recording in a factory? And I'm like, so I can survive. And they're like, turn it off. So let's check out crypto bubblies. Crypto bubblies over the week does paint a slightly different picture for our altcoin market. As we can see here over the week, as far as dollars go, things are up actually pretty good. So it always helps that just fill in the box. When we come down to the daily, we see that things aren't doing too well. Again, altcoins, you can trade them short term, but honestly, a little bit better strategy is to, well, at least depending on the market cycle or the type of trading strategies you're utilizing, is to be a little bit more patient and wait for some of these more long-term gains to come in. Let's see how we're doing over the month. As we can see over the month, though, we've had a good week, but overall a bad month to hold altcoins. This is probably the most indicative. Has it been a good time to hold altcoins for the last month or not? No, it has not been a good time. And as long as this monthly chart remains negative and bearish, then things are going to continue to be bad for long-term holders of coins. We come in here on the weekly and see where individuals can actually do well if they're a little bit more precise. And then the daily if they are trying to be extremely precise. But again, you guys get put it in the next room, and pipe it into your room. You know, here's the thing, guys. All of those things can be done, but they're easier said than done. Let's see here. Philly has been researching Theta. It's a dynamite-looking project, as in what it purports to do. Holy cow, it's snazzy technology. Yeah, Theta is pretty sweet. I've been a fan of Theta for a while. Did I go to Indicator College or something? One could say I have created Indicator College. Never miss a chance to market myself with our online trading academy. CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, so with the crypto bubblies up, let's get into some of the interesting stuff for today. All right, so first thing on the docket here. The Amy Comey Barrett of indicators. No need for notes. Let's actually go over to the news scene, I think. Hold on a sec here, guys. Yeah. Yoink. There we go. That's pretty. Only one thing to get rid of, and that's going to be that. All right. I promise one of these days I'll have stuffs in here. Let me put the chat up there right now. There we go. That's good. That's looking good. All right, so let's talk about our first story for the day, which is going to be Taproot being merged into Bitcoin Core. Here is what that means. Dun, dun, dun. All right. So we've been talking about, not too much like we've been talking about it, but, the upgrade in the making known as Taproot is getting ready to be deployed on Bitcoin. So it's been officially added to the Bitcoin Core coding library, and it's just a matter of a few final audits before it's actually going to be deployed on the mainnet. Now, there are two proposals on the table as far as how this feature will actually be implemented into the current protocol. So if we look at Bitcoin Improvement Protocol 8, or excuse me, Bitcoin Improvement Proposal 8, right here. Here's BIP 8. Let's just look at the abstract right here. Here we go. It basically calls for a short signaling period, right? Signaling period means this is the period in which the soft fork will be put out there and see if miners adopt it or not. And that gives nodes, so individual users that run full nodes, as well as miners, time to update, because they are going to have to update their library. And eventually an activation period would be reached, and the whole network is expected to have adopted the upgrade by then, because those who have not will not be able to communicate with the new network. So this is essentially just a if I'm not mistaken here, a hard fork proposal. But an alternative, which is this is what's going to happen, I assume. An alternative proposal is a soft fork deployment, right? So that's going to extend the signaling period to at least 12 months. Rather than just, let's say, 1 month here. This is going to give, and I think this is the better proposal, because this gives us a lot more time to test and even develop a contingency in the case that that the contract would allow for extending the adoption period to 2 years instead of just 12 months, right? Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Taproot was first proposed in early 2018, and it is pretty much the most anticipated upgrade to the Bitcoin Core client. Or to Bitcoin in general, since SegWit, right? Now, Taproot's implementation will allow us to use Schnorr Signatures. It will also, that was weird. It will also allow us to use MAST, which are Merkle abstract syntax trees. And so I want to go through and pull up a little bit of information on that, so we can kind of walk through those pretty good. So this is a this is a good website and a good summary of what we've got going on. Taproot is coming. What is it? How will it benefit Bitcoin? And no, we're not talking about breaking the glass. So right now we have a way of sending Bitcoin called, so there's pay to pub key, and then most individuals who are using modern Bitcoin wallets, especially, if they're using Betch32 addresses, which are native SegWit, or if they're using BIP, is it BIP98? Anyways, addresses that start with a 3. Okay, so these are going to be the most common Bitcoin addresses, and then if you're using pay to pub key hash, which are going to be legacy addresses that start with a 1. But anyways, so all right now we're capable of doing like very simple smart contracts with Bitcoin, right? Not again, remember, smart contracts, all they do, and I've had this conversation a lot, right? Everybody gets all up in a bunch about smart contracts. All smart contracts do is take money from one account and move it to another account. That's all they do, okay? At the end of the day. And they can do so in increasingly complex ways. Like, well, we're going to watch this, and then if you introduce oracles, it can be a little bit more. But at the end of the day, all we're talking about is a ledger. All we're talking about is digital ledgers. And all we're ever talking about with any kind of smart contract when it comes down to execution time is moving funds from one pool to another pool. That's it. From one address to another address. That's all smart contracts will do. Now, the conditions to actually pull off that transaction can be complicated and convoluted. And that's where kind of smart contract technology comes, where the term smart contract technology or upgrades and improvements come from. But at the end of the day, that's what we got. Wook Chewy, good quote right there, my friend. So right now in Bitcoin with P2SH, we can do things like let's say my employees didn't think I was good for the money. So I put a transaction out there on the Bitcoin blockchain that says, I'm going to pay X amount of Bitcoin to this address and to this address and to this address. And so my employees can see that their addresses are on the blockchain and the transaction's there by a certain date, right? So this script will execute on a certain date, let's say payday. So I can do that. I can also require them to utilize a secret key. I can also require maybe another condition to be met as well, maybe a multi-sig to come in at a later time, right? So all of these things that I can currently do, but the problem is when that initial transaction is broadcast on the blockchain, the script, right? So the script, which contains the contracts which contains the details of how that smart contract can be executed, that script is just hashed, right? So anybody looking at the blockchain when I actually, broadcast that transaction will not be able to see the conditions that could be met to make those coins unlock, right? The coins are locked up in the blockchain in that script. So that's all well and good so far. But then once that script actually activates, once those coins are actually paid out, then it reveals all of the information. It unhashes the hash, essentially. And you can see all of the information about what conditions were necessary to make these coins be spent, which might not be such a bad thing, except for the fact that A, it's data heavy, so it's a lot of bytes on the blockchain, and B, it also is not very private because it reveals a lot of information about, for example, so let's say the conditions are the same every single time. So, a malicious actor could pick up on that and figure out an exploit potentially in that avenue. Not against the Bitcoin blockchain, but against my intentions for putting that transaction out there was to pay my employees and not to pay them early, for example, right? So, the other thing that can happen is it can reveal information about the wallet, about the client being utilized, about potentially your geographical location. So there's lots of information there that we wouldn't necessarily want to reveal, or that we want to keep back if at all possible. And Taproot allows us to do that with Mast, right? So Merkleized abstract syntax trees is basically a way, and I'm gonna read a little bit off of here, to take each individual, remember that with pay2 script hash right now, what we're doing is we're taking a script and writing each condition in the same script and then hashing the whole thing. With Mast, what we can do is we can actually hash each individual condition separately. We can hash each individual condition separately, and that can all go into one big hash, which is the Merkle tree. And all they see is the hash of the Merkle root on the blockchain. but that allows us to unpack these conditions differently and not reveal all of that information, including the sensitive, potentially wallet information, when the coins are actually spent onto the blockchain. So this is a big improvement for security. The other thing as well, and it also makes things more compact. So we're not putting as many bytes on the blockchain, which is good. So anybody who wants to keep transaction costs low and who wants transactions to go through very quickly and who does not want to see the mempool fill up, especially with increased adoption of Bitcoin, as we're going to see in the next few years, this is good. The other thing is Schnorr Signatures. So Schnorr Signatures allow us to take individual signatures. So right now, if you have multi-sig, for example, on the blockchain, you're going to see each signature, right? Schnorr Signatures allows us to take multiple signatures and combine them into one signature. And so that, again, reduces the quantity of bytes on the blockchain. This complements SegWit very, very nicely, actually. So all of these things have been done. Or are going to be introduced into Bitcoin to make it more private by default, to allow for more complicated smart contract options, and 3, to reduce transaction speed and cost. So these are all really good technologies. I've been happy for Taproot for a while. The implementation of Schnorr Signatures and MAST really allows us to do really cool things moving forward as well. If you look at kind of the farther out Bitcoin improvement protocols, proposals, this allows us to have, let's say, quote unquote, better smart contract technology, or something approaching to a degree what Ethereum does right now. But again, without, let's say, the colored coins, because we don't have a token standard on the Bitcoin blockchain, although tokens can be created. They're called colored coins. And we have, so more privacy by default, faster transaction speeds, and it allows us to open up kind of the door to more smart contract implementation. Then, of course, we've got layer 2 solutions coming in, for example, like the Liquid sidechain. And then we've got Lightning, of course, which is growing in popularity and growing in adoption and growing in user client interfaces. So really good stuff for Bitcoin moving forward. And I'm pretty excited about that. And there's more that I'm skipping out on here. Overall, I've been pretty excited for Taproot for a while. And one of the reasons why, just in the background, everybody's like, hey man, what altcoin am I going to buy that's going to make me rich? I don't know, but I know if I just hold Bitcoin, I'm going to do well. So, let's see here. Let's see. To be fair, now there is a little bit of a rub here. And by the way, I do think that Jack was. Okay, here we go. Now, we did cover this in pretty deep depth in a previous Breaking Bitcoin Bits. So you guys can check this out. Just search our channel for Taproot. Schnorr Signatures, the next major upgrade for the Bitcoin protocol, are coming soon. Look at that. I had that desk back there and everything. I had the microphone tilted down, doing big things. Definitely picking up more sound off of the backstream there. Anyways, things that you think about when you look at your old videos. Now, because Taproot is a potential hard fork implementation, this is going to be a little bit controversial. So I really don't think that we're going to have it in the next few months. I think most likely they're going to do the 12-month soft fork proposal. And this is better for Bitcoin growth and adoption because, Bitcoin introduces things quite slowly because they're quite secure and they work very well. And we get time to get the community on board. It's not like Ethereum where we just kind of push things through. Although I don't really want to badmouth Ethereum. So hopefully this is going to be less controversial than SegWit. I think it's going to be far less controversial than SegWit. And so its deployment should be relatively easy and drama-free. But just stay tuned because I'm sure you're probably going to see videos cropping up on YouTube about how this is the end of Bitcoin and this is why Craig Wright is the real Satoshi and blah, 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 blah. Just like we saw back during the SegWit UASF drama. And I just want to say to all my other UASFers out there, yeah, we got that shit. We won. So anyways. So, interestingly enough, One moment, guys. I will be right back. Sorry about that, guys. Had to get me some coffee. And to slide this monitor out here a little bit more. All right. Sorry, Ali. I do remember Jack saying that that video was private. I have to figure out why it is, but I will definitely look into that. It should be up, and it should be. I don't see why it would be. Let's take a look at why it is. Go to. There we go. Now you guys can see this in a little bit more detail. So interestingly enough, I did have some information here on Filecoin. Let's see here. So Melanation says this is good for the same reason SegWit is bad. Everything is still immutable with this implementation. I think it's my listen. I know that this is slightly controversial, but moving signatures down with segregated witness, I don't think makes the chain unimmutable. All right. I've got my notes here somewhere. There we go. All right, so I guess the guys did touch on this on Monday. So I guess Jack and Alex did, and Jason did talk about Filecoin on Monday. But Filecoin is launching its mainnet today. So Kraken, Wobi, Gemini, they've all announced they're listing the token known as FIL soon after it goes live. So I assume the mainnet has gone live now. So we've got this forecast article here. It dives into Filecoin, and then it dives into EOS. And Google, how they tied up and how they announced that their partnership last week. And, overall, I think the tenor of this article is how the decentralized file storage space is heating up. And eyes are kind of on Amazon, whether they're going to follow Google Cloud's lead and take a stab at blockchain. So let's see here. Yeah, it says here, blockchain-powered cloud storage upstarts are becoming increasingly competitive against large and established cloud providers. During the space race, proving ground competition, over 230 petabytes, or around 260 million gigabytes of storage power was accumulated over a 3-week span. Let's see here. Yeah, EOS is a toxic mix. EOS is going to go to 0. Yeah, that is a pretty cool, in digital currency we trust, peer-to-peer. Yeah, that is pretty sweet graphic there, huh? I'll use that as the basis for our new logo. So let's see here. Futures for Filecoin have been up and down as the market determines what sort of impact EOS's tie-up with Google is going to have on Filecoin's market share, but as the dust settled and the platform came closer to launching, futures rallied significantly. According to Crypto.com's price tracker, futures for Phil jumped by nearly 88%. On week, they're up approximately 177%. But again, keep in mind that it says here, though crypto and price volatility, particularly pump and dumps, are nearly synonymous, a concerted display of interest by the market, especially after a long and arduous development process, shows that the vertical is ready for liftoff. So good for Filecoin. Let's see if we can see some good things out of there. All right. And kind of the last thing I wanted to cover today, a little bit of Coinbase whalery, right? So a Coinbase user transferred more than $463 million in Bitcoin across 4 transactions. So this is, the speculation is that this is another institutional acquisition of Bitcoin. So some are saying it's just Coinbase doing housekeeping and just moving funds for security purposes, but kind of the biggest speculation out there is that this was an OTC purchase by an institutional investor, and this would follow this recent pattern of institutional investment that we've been following for quite a while here, from MicroStrategy to Square to the big purchase by Stone Ridge Holdings that we covered on Tuesday. So if we look at information from Glassnode over here, we can see, according to Glassnode, that the number of Bitcoin whales is on the rise, indicating that they think what this indicates is rising accumulation by high net worth individuals who are boarding the Bitcoin moon rocket in recent months because they see the failing currency system, or they want to hedge against inflation, or they want to hedge against global uncertainty, or they want to hedge against coronavirus, or just whatever you could possibly put out there. And by the way, this video instantly just got demonetized because I said the word coronavirus. Philly says he knows a lad who has some real Bitcoin coins from original something promotional sometime way back. Hey, you know that guy from that thing and the what's you call it over the who's a what's and down in the down under with the Bob and all dog diggity on there like that? Yeah, remember that guy? Yeah, I know that guy. If you're talking about the there was I'm trying to remember the name of the line. But there were some 24 karat gold coins minted in the shape, with the Bitcoin logo on them. Numerous vivas. And they had on the inside the private key for one whole Bitcoin. And I want to say that those are worth, see if we can't do a quick think of what the name of these. Dude. Hmm. There it is. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah, so this is Causacious, and he doesn't sell any actual physical Bitcoins anymore, unfortunately. But here are the, ooh, look at these old school pretty ones, man. Yeah, so here's the private key on the inside, as you guys can see. Hopefully you guys can see that. Zoom there. There's the private key on the inside right here. And we can see the other side, the edging right there. And they would look like this. Here's 25, here's 10, here's 5, here's 1. So pretty cool stuff, man. And they were auctioning one of these off, and I want to say it went for like $20,000. Hmm. The ultimate auction. Interesting. We're going to check this out later. Not an endorsement. Cool. So he's not totally full of sugar, honey, iced tea. Good to know. Bet they are well valuable. Thank you, Crypto Caveman. I appreciate it. Yeah, I would like that as a hood ornament for my Lambo as well. Let's see here. Yeah, let's go back to the let's go back and check in with Bitcoin. We already get stopped out. Looks like our stop loss got filled. Yep. We put it in right about here and right back down to our entry on fill. All right, so one loser. And here we are. Yep, here we are at the hourly close. All right. Price extended. All right, so now that we've kind of broached that previous high, we can buy in the next pullback. If you want to be a cowboy, you can market buy this right now intraday. But I also don't, you know, you can't argue when you get those big green hourly candles on Bitcoin, though. It wants to move the direction it wants to move. You're either going to get this or you're going to get continued uptrend. So again, not the tactical trade that I want to take. Not anything that's interfering with my hedge. Just the play on the intraday. So next pullback would be the buy opportunity for me. let's wait and see if we get another buy opportunity here. Either our momentum oscillator kind of settling out, or again, just not being overextended to the upside. Melanation says if we get above 11,600, it's over. Yeah, I would be inclined to agree with you. But yeah, that's the trade that we've put on is the short hedge. Heck, we've been short since over here. Put it on the Celica for now. I just realized I'm not on the charting screen. There. Let's see here. So it is about what time is it? Yeah, it's about 1:03, guys. So, you know, I know we've been doing, you know, you guys are used to the 2-hour shows, but that's about all we got for today, man. I got a lot of programming to do. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done around the hood. So let's see. Let's just take a few minutes and answer any questions you guys have, and then I'll look to bounce out of here. Let's go to go here. Hold your horses. There we go. How's that? I never closed that happy accident, Mr. Ether says. I'd be cautious, man. I would be cautious. We got the daily overextended. We're moving sideways consolidation, falling volume. That's not necessarily bullish, man. Like I said, if we get a high close above 11,541, a daily close above 11,541, then I'd be willing to take the trade to the upside. But as of right now, not the position that I want to be in. Let's see here. SNTVT staking promises 40% reward if lock up your coins for 90 days. Crypto Twitter is going insane on this. Nah, look, man, if you lock up your coins for 90 days right now, well, listen, you might get lucky and price will be relatively there. But I'd say that with Bitcoin. I wouldn't say that with any kind of altcoin right now in this particular market cycle. Something Melanation said was kind of interesting here. Busting out of the weekly trend. This is the previous long-term chart I put out on Bitcoin based on VPVR. So we have previous downtrend into an HVN, and then we have previous, which caused the downtrend here, and then we have previous uptrend into an HVN. And we do have that nice break, pullback, retest. But so far, just a lower high. So far, just a lower high. Yeah, I got to turn my camera over a little to the right. All right, guys, so that's about it. Before we lose all the excitement for today, thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. We talked about a whole lot. I gave you guys an update on price as well. Oh, hey, let's check in, by the way. I wanted to see if I could show you guys this. Still short on XMR, not USD, but XMR XBT. There's that entry that we got yesterday on XMR XBT. Other than that, rep and GVT is where we currently positioned on GVT right here. Averaged into this on the way down. We got this nice oversold right now. And I really like those two. I really like that candle to the downside there. So we'll look to see. I don't want to add to this. I don't want to add to this until we crouch back up. And we already did a 50-30-20 entry split. So GVT is good. GVT is looking good. XMR is looking good. Rep BTC is actually the position that we're in, not Rep USD, but this one hasn't done fantastically. So this is really the only loser that we have. And then, of course, our Forex trades are, I mean, I don't have words for how good our Forex trades are. I literally don't have words for how good our Forex trades are. You guys can see all of our results at results.crackencryptocurrency.com. With that being said, thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, or death threats, put them in the comment section down below. And we will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Make sure to check out everything that we do at premium.crackencryptocurrency.com or join us in the Discord at discord.crackencryptocurrency.com. Be good, guys. Trade safely.